everyone, and welcome to another edition of Booming Encore's Learning Bites. My name is Susan Williams, and I'm the founder of Booming Encore. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Ed and Cynthia Staton, all the way from Ecuador. Ed and Cynthia are joining me again. They actually joined us once for a previous Learning Bites episode where they shared how they made the decision to actually relocate in retirement. And they're back today to talk about what someone should do in prioritizing the activities necessary to actually relocate in retirement. So welcome back, Cynthia and Ed.
Thank you so much for having us, Susan. We're glad to be back.
Thanks, Susan.
So Ed and Cynthia, I mean, this is a big decision. What should someone start with if they're actually seriously thinking of relocating in retirement?
Well, you're right. It is a big decision. It's not like throwing some clothes in a suitcase or a overnight bag and jumping in the car for a quick weekend getaway. It takes a lot of thought and planning. We cover a lot of this stuff, all of this stuff, in our master course, Retirement Reimagined. And the very first thing that we recommend people do is something that it's not really counterintuitive, but a lot of people just don't do it. They jump on the internet immediately and start looking at countries and getting excited about that. So Cynthia, tell them what they really should do first.
Well, the first section of our course addresses that, and it's called What in the World Do You Want? It provides a format for you to do a self-assessment and really ask yourself, maybe for the first time, what it is that you're looking for in your new home abroad. Because as the saying goes, if you don't know what you're looking for, how will you know when you find it? And so this is a very detailed process, and it's interesting for people to discover sometimes that their wish list has things on it that they may have not previously thought about. So that is the top priority when getting started with this. And then the second thing is to create a budget. Knowing how much you have to spend in retirement is key to landing in the right location.
Yeah, Cynthia's right. A lot of people think of a retirement location abroad in the same way they think of where they like to go on vacation. And you go on vacation to get away from your daily life, not for it to become your daily life. So it's really different in a 24/7, 365 than just a week or two at the beach or something. So armed with the self-knowledge Cynthia mentioned and understanding how much you've got to spend on a monthly basis, then you're in a better position to start evaluating what country or at least what part of the world, what country and what location within the country makes the most sense for you. When I say what part of the world, like if being close to your family is a really important thing to you, then going to the Far East probably isn't going to be a good choice because it takes a day to get there. And if you're trying to stay in touch with your family and friends, if you're calling Malaysia, it's tomorrow there. What does that even mean? So once you've got your country and hopefully a location or several narrowed down from the whole globe, then the next thing you do is?
Well, you have to take a scouting trip. We recommend at least 2 weeks in a location that you've identified that might be a good fit for you. And there are lots of things that you're going to do on this scouting trip once you put boots on the ground to figure out, again, if this is a 24/7, 365 location. So we take you through all the things that are important to do and to look for in that location that you're considering. And if it's a no, then at least you've had some good memories in an adventure and you're ready to move on to another location.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at a lot of the facts and figures about a place online, but at the end of the day, you've got to show up and see, does this place speak to my heart, not just to my head? So that's a big part of what a scouting trip is about. Then if you get on that plane to go home and say, well, honey, this is it, then the final thing you got to do is basically unravel your life and get yourself geared up to make the big move, doing things like getting your financial world online. If you're used to going to the bank and handing the lady your deposit slip and all in getting your monthly statement in the mail, that's over. When you move abroad, you've got to get a lot of your world online, taking care of lots of paperwork and so forth and so on.
Well, another thing that I want to mention, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, while you're doing that self-assessment in the beginning, an important category is your health, determining your healthcare needs. And honestly, are you in good enough health to put yourself somewhere else around the globe? Not that great health care isn't available, but sometimes if people are in poor health or in the middle of treatment for some chronic condition, they just may not be a good candidate for relocating abroad. So that's important too, that you understand what your healthcare needs are.
That's great. So basically what you're suggesting is you really have to start with what are you looking for in the first place and what are the needs that you have, then actually starting to take a look at the financial situation and what is your budget and what can you actually afford and not afford. Then you kind of do a scouting trip, then you make sure that, you know, it is actually going to meet what exactly you're looking for. Would you also suggest like talking to the locals there and spending like, how would you spend your time on that scouting trip? Just maybe expand on that a little bit more for us.
Sure, absolutely. We recommend that you actually do that. You connect with people that are already in that established expat community that you're looking at. And it's quite possible to make friends with people before you even get off the plane. And so when you show up, most expats are really comfortable meeting you for coffee or for lunch. They did the same thing probably. They picked other people's brains, and we encourage you to do that.
And the way you do that, since you said you can make friends before you get there are online forums just about any place that has an established expat community where you can just type in, hey, I'm coming to blah, 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 and would sure like to meet up with somebody. And people are just so kind about that because like Cynthia said, they've been in the same boat and they're more than willing to let you talk to them and get recommendations and so forth and so on. Because I mean, you need recommendations, especially when you show up. You've got to reassemble your team as far as your doctor and your lawyer and all that sort of thing. And in a foreign country without those kind of recommendations, you're kind of like, whoa, what do I do now? So it's invaluable to do what you said.
The move, how long would you say your transition was until you actually started feeling comfortable?
Wow, we've been living abroad for almost a decade, so it's a little bit difficult to think back. But we plugged in pretty quickly to this small expat community in Cuenca, Ecuador, and I think that within about 6 months we were pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we have a joke here that people, when you first get here, you don't know anything. But there's what we call the 6-month expert that they feel like after 6 months, they know everything and they're getting on all the forums and telling everybody what to do and all that sort of thing. And for people like us that have been there for a long time, it's like, go for it, dude. You know, you really don't know everything, but that's okay.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for your time, Ed and Cynthia. I really appreciate it. And I hope this information actually is valuable to our audience. I'm sure it is. So thank you again.
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much, Susan, for having us back.
Always a delight. And to everybody out there, we hope this information helps you live your best moving encore. Bye for now, everyone.